Well, Panistan have just about managed to cross the line, winning the game against the Netherlands by 3 wickets. But until over number 18, we felt that we are going to paint the stream orange because the Dutch were on the cusp of doing something very, very special. But then,
Listen, they were one drop catch away from winning this match. Max O'Dowd is going to be the most disappointed man of Dutch origin today because if that catch was taken, that's it. It wouldn't have mattered. Faheem Ashraf gone. This match was gone. I was so close. I had actually planned that I would start this discussion by just laughing for a minute straight, saying that there's definitely going to be no boycott of an India match happening now. Unfortunately, well, that's not going to happen, right? So,
No, I think that the boycott would have, happened even more. I think after this loss, they would have boycotted. In fact, the tweet I put out is that Pakistan came so close to not just boycotting the India match, but the entire tournament. Had they lost this, then it was the whole tournament. They might as well would have boycotted. I mean, things almost came to, had they lost it, and you're right, they were just that one drop catch away. If they had lost it, then they would have had only two matches left in the tournament. The one against USA, one against Namibia, 18th, they would have been heading back because, playing India or not playing India is secondary, but I think playing India, 90% you would have said, they're not winning, especially with the kind of performance that you've seen here. So they came this close to, it would have been a situation where the build-up would have lasted longer than the entire time that they would have spent in this entire World Cup. Two more matches and tata bye bye. I agree with you. If it wasn't for that drop catch, it was curtains for Pakistan. The whole mood would have changed. We probably would have been sitting on the biggest breaking news today. Who knows what Pakistan cricket would have thought, or the Pakistan government would have thought going forward from here. But either way, whether they boycotted it or didn't boycott it, it would have been very embarrassing for them. People would have said, before you decide to boycott or flex your muscle at the boardroom of cricket, you'll have to get your act together on the cricket field. For the moment, they've survived to live another day. What can I say?
I mean, let's not forget Max O'Dowd, but also Logan Van Beek. I mean, how the circle of ICC events, how cricket is such a great leveler. Logan Van Beek was the guy who hit 30 runs in the super over in that World Cup qualifier against the West Indies. And he defended that super over also. Here, he had to defend 29. Of course, two more overs were that, but because Bas the Leda was going to bowl. But slot balls, three slot balls, all disappeared for sixes. Of course, the Max O'Dowd catch also proved to be a catalyst, game-changing moment. But unfortunately, Logan Van Beek, I mean, people in that game in Zimbabwe hailed him as Clutch Logan, Logan the legend. But today he would be Logan very disappointed because 24 runs came and that last ball edge that flew between the keeper and short third man. Luck also was not with the Dutch. Typical Dutch luck that you have to look at it. So, yeah, Faheem Ashraf, the
Yes,
hero.
I mean, I want to start with, you said that you would have laughed if the result was different. I'll give you another reason. What was the game changer, one and only Mr. Bobsy doing? What did he do? I mean, you can look at the rest of the team, you can analyze their performance, the collapse that they had, various other things. But Babar Azam, who's been given a new role to bat in the middle order, predominantly the guy who's supposed to play anchor, the guy who's needed to, take their ship, when there are troubled times. He played that particular shot. I mean, I don't know what I'm telling you. If Pakistan would have lost today, if I was the Pakistani selector or the coach, I would have dropped him permanently. That shot, we keep talking about that one bad shot Kapil Dev played, who was a legend, and I'm not even comparing Babar to that level of what Kapil did. But I say he was dropped for one bad shot. For the shot that Babar Azam played today, he deserved to be dropped for the entire tournament. They should have just given him a return ticket. This is your ticket. Sit in the aircraft, go back home. Because it's not just about the shot, it is about the
the responsibility given to you. You're a senior pro. That is exactly what you're there in the team for. You're not the one who's going to accelerate. You're not the bowler like Sam Ayub or someone else who's going to help you play an all-rounder's role. You have no other role but to be the guy who stands up as an anchor in trouble times like this when you've got a good start. That's his only role, and the only experienced guy that you have with that kind of experience in the team, with all the hype around him overall, or his cover drives and all those things. All these things should have gone in the drain. I have backed him in the past saying that Pakistan have been harsh on him when it comes to captaincy or whatever. After this shot, they should have given him a return ticket back to Lahore. This is it. Go back home.
No, terrible, terrible, terrible. Because again, as you were saying, he's literally in the team to be an anchor. He's not even being asked to be someone who's going to need to be aggressive. That used to be asked of him as an opener, and he would more often than not struggle with it. But that's not his natural game. And so the team management literally said, "Listen, we're giving you your favored role here. You do not need to try and up the ante. If you go over his innings, 15 of 18, one boundary. That's it." But he was doing his job because it wasn't a big run chase. They needed 140 odd. You just needed one person to bat through and then maybe accelerate a little bit in the deck if you managed to bat through. It would have been done and dusted. He went for an aggressive shot at a time when they had already lost a couple of wickets, which made it worse because that shows a lack of responsibility. You've lost a couple of wickets, which is expected considering their top order, they're all hitters.
No,
So
and
there is a
sorry,
chance.
you say aggressive shot. You say aggressive shot. What was that shot? Aggressive
Yeah, it was
shot
a
is
bad
you
shot.
reach the pitch of the ball and you swing. This was like a tail-ender shot. You know what tail-enders do? They
Nah.
decided they want to hit. No matter where the ball is, they just swing. He was nowhere close to the pitch of the ball, nowhere swings it. You knew 100% that is out. It was
Nah.
comical, to say the least. I mean, had he connected, he reached there and then you can be out. It happens with some batters, may have been, maybe that ball was there to hit and he went for it, got out. Wasn't there to hit, didn't reach the pitch of the ball. Experienced batter will change his mind saying, oh, I've not reached, so let me not go for the shot. I'll just take a single here and then wait for the ball that I'll get. I mean, I can't believe a
I
batter
mean,
who's played so many matches, who's played a shot like that.
this is a Babar Azam who's coming off an average of 20 and 103 strike rate in the BBL. In a farmers league like the BBL at this point. But don't worry, see, Babar Azam is like a 20-pound anchor on a rowboat. That is the only thing I can think of Babar Azam in this Pakistan cricket team. And don't worry, for all Pakistan fans, for all cricket fans, we are absolutely sad with the fact that one Dhurandhar agent in Harish Raut is out. No problem. We have got Baldev Agarwal in Babar Azam. He's the Dhurandhar who plays for the opposition at this time, not for the team. So we have to understand one thing. Baldev Agarwal, urf Babar Azam, is coming off such high levels of confidence in the BBL. You are directly putting him in a T20 World Cup scenario. This was expected to happen on an SSC wicket, which is for the first time you want to experiment under the lights in this particular T20 World Cup. The characteristic is it will get slower and slower. And you want a 20-pound anchor on a rowboat. Good luck in trying to ensure that, okay, I've got this team where I've got a rowboat of a team, but I've got a 20-pound anchor who's dragging me down and is threatening to sink me. Good luck with that.
I mean, look, it is just comical, and the thing which really gets my goat is that this is not even him trying to be anything outside of his comfort zone. They're asking you to play at a 120 strike rate. They're asking you to average 30. The criticism of Babar used to be that he'd score his own runs. I mean, please score your own runs here. You're chasing 140 for crying out loud. No one's asking you to play a Nicholas Puran style innings. Just do the basics. It's not a tough run chase by any stretch of the imagination. It was in a situation where even if they lost a couple of wickets, they just needed one good partnership and they would have cruised home. But Pakistan being Pakistan, they made it so tough on themselves. And again, that's the thing. Were it not for this last bit of this thing from Faheem, I thought at that point when I'm looking and I'm like, wait, hold on, they 29 of 2 overs. Are you kidding me? There's no way they're winning from here. And I was looking and I'm like, if Shaheen is their best hope, I'd forgotten Fahim again that. So I'm like, if Shaheen's their best hope, they're probably losing this. And that's not like, okay, let's actually have a laugh at them because there's no way they're doing a boycott now. They have to play that game. But I mean, see, that's the thing. And we keep hearing and talking about their level. There's trash talk leveled our way, the Indian way that Pakistan will do this to you, boss. You struggle to beat the Netherlands. It's just the sad reality of it all that you were not even close to beating the Netherlands. We thought it was bad enough that they lost to the USA in the last T20 World Cup. Well, this time around, they were this close to losing to the Netherlands, and that would have been it. World Cup dream over. I see we're being joined by Harshit, who's seemingly joining us from a highway.
That's right. I had a last minute uh, outstation visit, but just close to Delhi, so on my way back. But yeah, was catching the action,
You're supposed to be
and
in
I must say,
office. You're supposed to be in office in
sorry.
20 minutes. You're supposed to be in office in
Yeah, yeah.
20 minutes.
I will be in office in the next 17. That's what I think I saw on the maps. So yeah, uh, but entertaining stuff. Must say. Sorry, I couldn't hear your thoughts, but Pakistan have done one thing very well in this match, and that's entertained us. It's a good way to kickstart the tournament. Did look like that they'd applied a choke on themselves yet again. But yeah, Faheem Ashraf ultimately for the little prowess that he comes with, he's popular more for his social media antics, but with the bat as well. For once, we saw him deliver the goods.
I mean, the scenery behind him, the kind of infrastructure that I see behind him seems like he's joining us from Pakistan only.
Yeah. You're Haris Rauf
Uh,
today. Harshit Ahuja, no. Haris Abdul.
He's Haris Azam.
Haris
From
Azam.
Kovel.
but okay, by the way, credit where credit is due. I think we've kind of established the fact that if it wasn't for that drop catch, Pakistan were almost boycotting the entire tournament, as I said. But I'm giving Fahim the credit because it was a hopeless situation. He's connected, cleared the boundary. Whichever way you look at it, you look at the drop catch, you look at the bowler that Siddharth spoke about. But at the end of the day, the one thing that I'll give credit for Pakistan to and Fahim Ashraf, that from that situation, from their point of view, they'll remember this innings. Let's say, if that had been India in that situation, I don't think India will ever be in this situation because they won't shoot themselves in the foot like Pakistan did. But let's say if they were, and you had, someone like a Harshit Rana or someone come and play a knock like that, I think we would have hailed him as a hero because some of those shots were outstanding, connected it really well. Gives them that option. They also have that option of Shine Shah Freedy. So there is this option that they have of people that can use the long handle that might really help them in the tournament going forward. But one other thing that I'll conclude from this match, we speak about that Australia series and everyone is saying Pakistan is looking very good because remember they won one game by 90 runs, the other 100 plus margin, and those are like massive victories, and everyone thought that they've sent some warning signs to the rest of the world. But I think what this game has shown you is that they aren't that big a force to reckon with, simply because when it comes to World Cups, no, see, bilateral series are a different thing. You were playing at home, pitches may have been to your liking. There were slow pitches. I think one other thing that I'm happy to note here is that you got a good pitch in Colombo. We didn't know what will be the surfaces. They could have been slow, low, really gripping, but this is a good enough batting pitch. So you're getting those pitches, and those pitches, if you get in Sri Lanka, don't think that Pakistan will be the kind of force that you saw versus Australia. And also tells you how underpowered Australia were and how out of form Australia were in that series. So I still think that with this sort of a form, they might still struggle, going forward in this tournament. I may still win against the US and Namibia, though those may not give that sort of a competition. But I don't think even if they go to that weaker part of the group, at least with what I've seen, I think this was because we kept relying, and I, for that matter, kept relying on the evidence of what we saw versus Australia. And you thought that this is a resurgent Pakistan team. I don't think so. Take Sahibzada Farhan out, and in Asia Cup also he was their standout batter, and he's showing here too. He will be the guy to watch out for. I know Salman Ali Agha and Saeem Ayub had those good series versus Australia, but I really want to see them do well in a big tournament. So I think it's in terms of X factor, they only have that Sahibzada Farhan. So still not one of the top contenders is what I can conclude from the game that I've seen today.
I mean, see,
No, absolutely right.
Two halves. I mean, the top with Saeem Ayub and Saibzada Farhan, and then you have to rely on a Faheem Ashraf. The rest of the middle order, basically on these conditions, will struggle in Sri Lanka. And remember, they are playing in different conditions throughout the group stages. I mean, today 11 a.m. start, so it'll be fresh. They are playing at SSC in a night game now. Then they'll be playing a day game, middle in the afternoon, and then they'll be playing at the Premadasa Stadium. So they'll be encountering four different conditions in four different matches at this stage. Now, how will their batting adapt to this? Because the bowlers seem to have kind of gotten into their groove. They're still coming from that confidence that they had in the Australia series, but those pitches were 180 degrees different than what it is in Sri Lanka. Okay, the batting will be tested, and that is where I think Pakistan will be found wanting, because their middle order is basically non-existent. It's a muddle order, as is Shane's favorite term at this stage.
No, I agree. Their middle order doesn't look good, and I think part of the problem is that whilst they've included players who are supposedly hard hitting, in theory that may be the case, but in practice they have one too many top order batters who they've just chucked into their batting lineup. Of course, having a
Yeah.
Babar there, the logic of it I understand, but if you've gone for a team full of attacking batters, I mean, I don't know. Again, just to contrast, when you look at how India decided to go about with their change, they said we want everyone from one day to be batting the same. Yeah, situationally you might have to adapt, but the default thought process should be that, boss, we are going to look to hit. We only want to bat 10, 15, maybe 20 balls, but in that time we want to get 45 to 15 runs. So either that should be the approach from everyone. But right now you're like, oh, in case there's a thing, we'll get Babar in. It's not very well cohesively planned. And then to make things worse, I don't even think their bowling is all that fearsome. Sorry to say. The fact is
But
that
you know,
for
Shane,
all the
Shane,
talk,
today, if you see today, again, I think the
yeah,
the only other credit I'll give is their bowling. See,
yeah,
Netherlands was sitting on 104 in 12 odd overs with just two down. From there on, they've gone on to be dismissed for 147. I think the one thing I've seen with Pakistan, again, I'm not looking so much in the Australia series because they got spin friendly tracks. You might not get those tracks today.
yeah.
But I think that Nawaz, Sam Ayub, and Abrar, these three have been in kind of good form coming in. So they've not been that bad. So I think that their batting is susceptible. I'll agree. Pakistan will continue, to underwhelm with their batting, and that is the reason why I don't see them going too far ahead in this tournament. Because today's T20 cricket, it's your batting which is predominantly deciding. Bowlers can chip in and make a contribution, but the spin bowling is doing a decent job. I think that's the only area where they can be a little bit confident about
And I was
in
actually
terms of
talking
those
about the
pace
pace
bowling.
bowling. You're right. The spinners I do rate.
Yeah,
I do think
yeah.
Nawaz is a fairly good operator now. He's definitely improved a lot from where he was maybe 2, 3 years prior. Even the return of Shadab has worked out well for them. Shadab was pretty good today. But I do think that pacers can be where they are a little bit of the susceptible side for because Shaheen, for all he can be very explosive in the power play, he can also explode and implode in the death. So there are issues there as well. And the pace battery, I think they were very reliant on how Roth was, but Roth hasn't been the same since 22. So that's the thing. They're bowling spinners aside. I do agree, and they don't even have Usman Tariq playing today. So I mean, they do have an option there as well. I think the spin department is well stocked. Pace 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is a
But
there
with
is a
the
question. Yeah. Yeah.
with the batting, just wanted to expand on one of the points that I heard, which is with the batting. I think I agree with what Nikhil mentioned. With the bowling, yeah, you'll get times where the bowling will sort of do enough to keep you in the contest, but the batting is extremely underwhelming. Today was just another example of that. On a true wicket, you didn't see much of the intention, and we're talking about how teams have changed. Pakistan really haven't changed. Yes, maybe they've added a Sahibzada Farhan over the last 12 odd months into the mix. He gives some sort of firepower, and then you have a Fahim. These two players I'm singling out because they do come in with that sort of an intention to go out and express. But the others, the likes of a Nawaz, if still if he's in the middle order, lower middle order, if there's a Babar over there, it just doesn't give me any hope. You rather have, let's say, a player like Maxwell who will come in with the intention, but perhaps be a bit of a damn squib. But today's T20 cricket is all about these players who don't really care about their wicket and are willing to take the risk. Today, they've got to be thankful to what Faheem Ashraf did towards the end. Otherwise, Pakistan were, in on a close exit. And if that U-turn isn't being talked about already in the Pakistan circles, definitely after today's match, they would have had to revisit whether they want to play India or not.
We've got a few comments. Freaking awesome says, any one of you can chip in. He says, Park can't escape in this encounter against USA now. USA played really well in the warm up games against India, A, and New Zealand. this SSC, which is a decent batting pitch, not Premadasa, but both teams haven't batted well. So you reckon with this form, USA?
I mean, see, USA had a very good run in the warm-up games. I mean, they pushed New Zealand incredibly close. By 7 runs, they lost in chase of 200 plus. But again, remember, they'll have to adapt to the Sri Lankan conditions. And that's where I think, see, SSC, looking at the time where they're playing and looking at how the pitch is, traditionally, this is the first time you're going to play a night matches at the SSC. So it'll be a new novelty altogether. How on earth are you going to ensure that, yes, they do well? The batting, I mean, Nikhil pointed out, Netherlands collapsed, Pakistan also collapsed. Pakistan just managed to scrape over the line. So, I think it will be yet again a very close encounter. If it's happening at the SEC, it'll be a close encounter. So, whoever holds their nerve, the lessons would be learned. They would then win that particular game. They just have to hold their nerve. Netherlands lost their nerve today with that Max O'Dowd dropped catch. Plus, their batting from they lost 5-6 wickets in the 15 to 16 over in the 18 over period. How do you recover from that?
By the way, I thought, and I mean, because everyone's talking about the boycott, if I could read between the lines, the way Pakistan batted today, that's another matter that they almost self-destructed a little later. But I think it kind of gave me an indication that they pretty much know they're not going to be playing the India match. Because I had a feeling that they were going for the net run rate to begin with. Their approach, because I mean, Salman was batting decently well, but was still playing shots. Everyone was playing shots. I think the only time they changed gears to try and accumulate is towards the latter half. We even joked about Babar Azam as a shot, but I think the mindset or what they would have spoken about, this is just the sense I got watching them bat, was that they knew that they're not going to be playing India, and so in their minds they know that that is going to dent their net run rate a lot, as we've discussed in the past. And so they will have to not just win against these associates, they'll have to win by big margin, because that might come into play. And I think that is why the batting approach was like that, unless, as I said, they self-destructed and then they had to go to plan B, plan C and really change things around, and then almost, came out from the jaws of death. But it is an indication, and I repeat, it is an indication, because now also there are back channels negotiations that are happening. But I think it's an indication that in their heads and the way they were playing, they have been told that India game is not happening. Be prepared for a massive hit to your net run rate. So try and get better at that going forward. We'll see how that equation pans out later.
No, I agree, because again, see, if you look at the way they approached the run chase, and at first they were really going for it. I think it was only when that collapse happened a little bit in the middle that they decided to course correct and said, no, listen, we'll leave that fight for another day. Right now, we have to live to fight another day. Let's not reach a situation where we lose the match whilst chasing a net run rate gain. But yeah, it does seem like, I think the memo for them is, listen, boys, you aren't going to play India. That's going to hit your net run rate. Make up for that net run rate. Even though I do think personally that they could potentially be there even without the net run rate, I think they'll win all the other 4 games, I would think, because I think India is the only match which would have tested them and which I have written off. So, but the fact is, if they lost by a close margin to India, it wouldn't have impacted their net run rate. Right now, with the boycott, it will. So, I think they've been told, listen, boost your net run rate. They're going to try and do that in the remaining matches as well, for sure.
We have a question. Anshu Mishra wants to know, Nixa, ICC should now declare Pakistan an associate nation, given talent of their team, how they lost against associate teams consistently, and Babar Azam chose wrong profession. Should have done an MBA. Why an MBA?
I really don't know why an MBA.
I got some goosebumps listening to your question as I was reading your question. B2 says, Nixa, I can't prove, but Pakistan had an email ready begging to play against India on the 15th Feb till 18th over, but then Netherlands choked. You reckon they would have made a U-turn had they lost? Any one of you think they would have?
There's a chance.
Even without a loss, I had said
that would have been an egg on their face. Yeah, I mean, you lost, and then people would have seen that after losing, now you're making. I don't think they would have gone out of the tournament. I think. I have a feeling.
Sync with the dynamic.
I had said, even without a loss or with a win or anything, be prepared for a U-turn. Because then why would Sri Lanka cricket then jump in? Sri Lanka cricket have said, don't hurt us. What have we done? मुझे क्यों तोड़ा? In this whole ego tussle between ICC and PCB and BCCI, you want to hurt Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka
Yeah, I
तुमने
mean,
हमारा क्यों तोड़ा?
exactly. They had even written that long letter. I remember we had broken it. I'd broken it. They had written that long letter, and they said that, in times of political uncertainty, we stood by you. We told Pakistan, despite the fact that, remember, it was the Sri Lankan team that were victims of that terrorist attack in Lahore that pretty much made Pakistan international pariahs for nearly a decade. They told. Now they're saying that you are actually coming out and hampering us. You're hampering our economy. That's unfair. And I really feel for Sri Lanka in this case. They're the collateral damage, so to speak.
Yeah. In
Indeed.
fact, Hriday R has a similar comment. He says, Park will play India and get humiliated on the 15th. He says he's pretty sure that they will play. As I said, there are still talks on, and now Sri Lanka is a new angle that has been added into this entire scenario. So we'll have to wait and watch what happens on that front.
Absolutely.
But if you ask my personal opinion, I think that game's not happening on the 15th. That's win, lose,
I concur
whatever. I
with that.
think now that the prime minister's come spoken, I doubt that there will be any sort of U-turn. Sharon says पाक की performance देख के पाक PM be like boycott ही अच्छा है वरना बेइज्जती हो सकती है.
Exactly.
Priyanshu says wrong profession nahi. He is the best agent. Dhurandhar 3 biopic of Babar Azam. I'm sure Babar will get Bharat Ratna.
Baldev Agarwal.
No.
Rookie
Yeah,
Techie
I don't
says
believe Agarwal is.
Rookie Techie says Netherlands saved Pakistan in 2023 and they've done it again in 2026.
22. Also, they beat South Africa, na? South Africa were on top. South Africa just
Ah,
needed to win.
Yeah, when Mandamover took that catch.
Yeah,
yes.
Mandamover took that catch. So yeah,
Yeah.
look at it. You allowed Pakistan and India. Please, sir, आइए आपका इंतजार था. So that's how it happened.
Sachin Tendulkar says, Nikhil, I believe ICC made a mess of Super 8 groups. India, Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, top 4 seeds, keeping 3 out of those 4 in the same group. And the other group is very weak, and one of the top seed will miss out in the semis. Yeah, Mr. Sachin, we did discuss that in a preview to the tournament yesterday. Do check the dugout out. But I agree. That's what happens. But I also have another point of view on that. I've oftentimes said that, if you're the best team, you have to play everyone and win the tournament. It's not about reaching Super 8s or reaching finals or reaching semi-finals. I mean, as an Indian fan, I think we can relate to that. 2023, we did reach the final, but that counts for nothing. So eventually, it's about the trophy or you don't get the trophy, right? So
Also, I
as
think they
simple as
fixed
that.
the
So,
draw enough by putting India, Pakistan in the same group every single tournament. Let's not make it a point that, we can potentially ensure these nations reach and that nations reach. No, let's play it on sporting merit.
I
yeah.
mean, you want fixing. Look at it in 2021. Every effort was made, yeah. Australia, England, West Indies, Sri Lanka, South Africa, Bangladesh in one group. India only had to beat Pakistan and New Zealand to make it. But
And
no,
they
they
couldn't beat
didn't do
either.
that. So imagine the level of fixing that happens when it comes to the competition. I hope whatever has happened in this ICC tournament build-up, please put a stop to this preceding that India Pakistan need to be in the same group. Please, बहुत हो गया. It's done for.
Okay, Lazy Lad, final comment. Lazy Lad says, waiting for the Park PM about congratulating on beating the mighty Netherlands. I know where that comes from because he tweeted about beating Australia, but that was Australia nonetheless. Though I still found that funny because it was the first match of a bilateral 3-match series. And why would you tweet about that? I could still have understood at the end of the series, you're saying congratulations, on a well compiled series win against Australia, which is, even though they came with a weakened side, still I could understand. But
Beating.
the first match didn't make sense. I think it's a joke comparing to that particular tweet.
Although I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott Edwards is Australian, right? Playing for the Netherlands.
Maybe.
Could be.
I mean, most of their players, I think 8 of their players play county cricket. One of them plays in New Zealand. One of them plays in Australia. So they
O'Dowd
have,
is, I think, from New Zealand. Max O'Dowd. He's from New Zealand.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, still, you can say, na, yeah, we beat an Australian captain playing for the Netherlands. So, tab bhi.
Hidayah has a very interesting comment. I'd like your thoughts on that before we wind up. He says Pakistani YouTubers were celebrating before the 19th over, but Faheem made them unhappy and spoiled their day. So you know,
Yeah, Hridaya.
Oh, that's an
basically
interesting one.
they
That's
were
an
they were
interesting one.
sharpening their knives before. Damn.
But for
Before
me,
Faheem Ashraf made them throw away the knives.
this was the comment. Fahim Stokes did the Edgbaston,
Ah,
but Fahim Stokes did the
no, but
Edgbaston.
credit to Faheem.
Yeah,
Credit
yeah,
to
yeah.
Faheem.
Yeah,
That
good knock, good knock.
one
Have to
game
take, have
changing
to give
knock.
that.
One game changing knock. Okay,
Indeed,
we'll take
indeed.
your leave.
Agreed.
Thank you for your company. But World Cup started. Our continuous coverage continues on Sports Today. We're going to be live at 6:30 p.m. A little earlier than that, maybe 6:20 p.m. Build up to the India versus US game, the first game for India in Mumbai. So look forward to your company for that. So take care. Bye bye. Subscribe to Sports Today. Plenty more content already there uh, with regards to the T20 World Cup. Enjoy that as well. You have enough time from now till 6 p.m. So check all of that out. From all of us here, bye bye. Take care.
Indeed. See you. See you soon.